And I can tell you, when I landed in New York, I was blown away, totally blown away. Washington D.C. even better. And I came to Chicago, and on the route from the airport to the hotel, I lost my wallet in the taxi.
Aww.
And I was distraught. I was like, I had no credit card to book in, and as I ran out from the hotel, I just saw the back of the taxi. And yeah, I was.
You didn't get the taxi number, huh?
No, we went to the security cameras of the hotel, and they couldn't see the number. There's about 8 taxi agencies in our way, so once it started. But yeah, this morning when I walk out coming to the seminar, here comes the taxi driver with my wallet.
Oh, it's great.
So I salute the American people.
Yeah.
Because that in our country, I don't want to really be bullish Africa here, but in our country, the chance of getting your wallet back would have been.
No, that wouldn't happen in New York.
Not in New York.
No
So,
way.
I really want to tear my eye. I want to say thank you to the American people for the hospitality, everything that they've done so far for me. Really, I absorb everything. And I'll take it home with me, all the good stuff. Thank you. Okay, my presentation is going Thandi wines. A little bit of Thandi, but also I think the human aspect that is behind Thandi, the whole philosophy of my learned friend there of live and let live, and something, the greatness comes from goodness thing, you know, that we need to do the right things so that we can make sure that everybody under the sun experience the value of life on this planet. So yeah, it can be a good life for everybody. I think that's the whole philosophy behind Thandi. So I'm going to give a little bit of background on that, and then yeah, talk about why we need a project like Thandi from a more political point of view, and then the wines. So I'll do it in 15 minutes. Yeah, Thandi wines started in '95. A gentleman referred to the new era coming in with the release of Nelson Mandela and finally being elected by the people, for the people. That was a momentous occasion in our lives. I remember standing in that queue. It was an endless queue of kilometers long just to vote for the first time. Yeah, and there was a lot of expectation and energy in that queue of a better life for all. Yeah, in '95, the year after that, Dr. Paul Kluwer, we tasted his wines, wonderful wines. He's a real ambassador for South Africa. He's a true entrepreneur, businessman, he's a winemaker, he's everything. And he decided to kickstart the whole process of reconstructing what was being skewed by the apartheid system. Without any legislation in place, there was no laws, it was just a vision of him saying that there's been people left out of the mainstream economy, out of the wealth of the country. What can he do as a farmer to bring in these families, who half of them worked for him, 147 people, families at a time. So he decided to make land available, went to his neighbor, the forestry company was doing the pine trees, asked whether they will participate. They said yes, and then suddenly we have 200 hectares of this land available. Went to government to get some funding, and yeah, we bought it from the Paul Kluwer family and also from Safcol. And we started, absolutely, there's the picture of one of the first people of Thandi who started with, absolutely there was nothing, pine trees, blue gum trees. We had to cut everything from scratch and yeah, plant everything from the bottom up. Yeah, and that was at that time the first experiment then of broad-based empowerment in the agricultural sector. Yeah, the focus of Thandi as a project is really to uplift the 250 families that are now involved in Thandi. There are 3 farms. I'll show you the pictures of the farms, and that is really to take them from the state of poverty into this whole better life for all that has been promised. Yeah, and become then from a point of being sustainable, becoming self-sufficient in going forward in our lives. These are 3 farms. This is the one on this side here is the original farm in Elgin, is next to Paul Kluwer. So yeah, that is the farm that's got the biggest share also in the Thandi project. This is the farm in Stellenbosch, about 22 hectares, and there on the top corner is the farm in Hermanus. It's about 30 hectares of wines. So the families that are ownership of these wines are all working on the farms. Mostly of them, we can try to accommodate everybody. It's not always that easy. And yeah, so the owners, we are landowners and also owners of the wine company. Within the wine company, the families hold 55%, and then over the farms, the shareholding is spread between 50% and 100%. So this is a fairly unique at this point in time in the South African wine industry to have really that size of grouping of people having land and the company ownership. Yeah, this is a picture of the Tundi farm kitchen. It's also our office space, so I call it our head office. The farm kitchen is a small kitchen that serves breakfast and light lunches. So if you do come visit South Africa, I'll surely entertain you there with something to eat. Also, a wine tasting facility is in there, and then also the office is the building next door, which is not really part of the picture there. The farm kitchen was set up by the Tundi ladies. That this was all part of creating work for themselves while the men was in the doing the land, the farming. The ladies then do all the cooking and try to generate more funds into the business. Okay, Tundi became the world's first fair trade certified wine in 2003. We felt that was quite important that we follow the route of fair trade, which has become more and more aware, especially in Europe, where we were focusing mostly our exports. And and we thought that fair trade will bring the message over much better than we telling that we are a black empowerment company. And people really, I put it up in, especially Europe, don't really care about black and white. It's about people and how we can help people become better, you know. And fair trade is part of that whole message that that we try to bring over. That we want to have a fair deal with what we're doing and to create a better life for ourselves. Yeah, so the whole plan is to become the world's most, or the world's leading social and ethical wine brand. So that's part of the whole fair trade initiative that we are applying into our business. Okay, Tundi today we are the most successful development in fruit farming in terms of empowerment. On the Alban farm we have apples, we have plums, we have pears. So that's why it's categorized under the fruit farming sector. It's been a model that has been replicated by many, with some success, some not so successful, but Tundi remains probably the most visible model out there to show that it can be done. It took a long time. It took us 10 years for the first profits to make, you know, so it is not a short-term intervention, it's really long-term, and you need to really try to just hang in there and make it work. Which was not so easy sometimes. And also, I can just maybe share with you, Tundi people they've always been laborers all their lives, the whole generation's been laborers, and decision has always been made for them, and suddenly they are the owners, they are the decision makers, and it was quite difficult to get that going. And a lot of tears and distrust that was shared between Paul Kluwer was very involved in the beginning of the farm, you know, and there was a lot of distrust between the people and the communities, you know, because all you see is there goes grapes, there goes the apples, where's the money, you know, but people didn't understand the process, but it was all part of the whole mentorship and transfer of skill. Okay, in 2009 we worked in the beginning, we worked with another wine company and to help us build up the critical mass to become sustainable. We reached that in 2009, so today we are totally fully independent as a black-owned wine company. Yeah, we export to about 19 countries all over the world, mainly in Europe. Europe is our biggest base because we started in terms of exporting there. We're selling in the Asian markets as well, into Africa, but not in the USA yet. So that is my mission is to come and seek an importer and a distributor in the United States to see if we can bring Tundi into the US. Okay, the money that have been generated through the business, it's the two ways of revenue. It is the profits that comes from the business. What actually happens is Tundi is run like a cooperative. We have the 3 farms here and the Tundi Wines as the company, the overhead structure. So the Tundi Wines buy the grapes from the shareholders, makes the wine, sell it, and then bring the money back to the communities. So there's income of that, and then also the fair trade. There's a social premium built into the fair trade. So every time you buy a fair trade product, there's some money coming back. And for that, we applied for various projects that we felt at the time was quite important. And the big need for Tundi was the literacy training and numeracy training. Most of the people are illiterate, never been to school or halfway through school. So there was a high level of illiteracy, and we spent bulk of the money in setting up training programs and computer systems so that we can bring about change in terms of that. Also in terms of skills and management training, how to run the business, how to run the farm. All of that we need to spend the money on that, make sure that we are properly skilled in terms of our duties. Then also the bulk, and actually the bulk of the money went to date into the children. That is the future. Like Johan said, that we borrow the land from our children. So hopefully in a few years' time, one of those kids there will stand here and they will also sell Tandy to the US. So we spend a lot of money in them. That is the future. We make it easy. It's not a culture of learning on the farm, so we try to make it easy for everybody by paying the school fees, paying the uniforms, paying the stationery. Just make it absolutely easy for everybody to have education, because that is the platform from where we can launch ourselves into the future. There's also 2 creches that we support from the Tandy money on the 2 farms, one farm in Elgin and in Stellenbosch. Yeah, and that is basically goes to the salary cost of the teachers and also some of the food that is being provided to the kids by the creche. We've also got one child, first ever child in the history of Tandy communities that have gone to university now. She is a 2nd year, Albercia, studying at the University of Western Cape, doing a nursing degree. And we support fully 100% everything that requires, from tuition fees to the textbooks, transport, everything. We just absolutely pump all our money into her. And the idea is for her to come back to the farm and set up a primary healthcare facility so we can again become self-sustainable. I think that is what we try to become, instead of waiting. We believe, and I'm an optimist by nature, so I believe in the future of South Africa. I believe the government is doing what they can do, so the bigger wheel of change will eventually come through, and we will feel all the sunlight and all the better life. But in the meantime, we can create our own successes by having projects like Tandy, where we have it in our own ability to create a bit of wealth for ourselves while we wait for the bigger wheel of change. So that's part of the whole approach to that. It is for her to come back and set up a primary healthcare on the farm and not allow sick people to travel kilometers to the nearest town to get some help. And that is again part of being self-sufficient. Yeah, also the community is very much based on sports events. That's over the weekends there, keeps us together, keeps people away from idle hands, and people tend to move into alcohol abuse. So this is a big event every weekend. There's rugby matches played between the farms, so we pay for the transport of the buses to the farms, the uniforms, the kit they're wearing, we pay for all of that. Again, just to keep the community structure intact. Again, and also the kids, like everywhere in the world, kids, if you don't keep them busy, they got a stereo TV in our case. So a lot of drug abuse, that is what is now the most prominent drug now being misused on the farms in all of South Africa. So we keep them busy by having them being part of a band, and we pay the instrument and the clothing and everything, and just give them a sense of pride and dignity as kids. Okay, why projects like Tandy? Many South Africans, and that is the bulk of the population, which is mainly black people. About 70% of the population is black people. Many of them never or have no access to date in terms of the formal economy, can't really participate, a lot of unemployment. And that makes it quite difficult to really materialize this whole vision of a better life. And I think that this project like Tandy is part of the whole process, where we can bring groups of people into the formal economy and try to create some wealth there. This is not, I must say, not unique South African. I think the whole world, there is always this balance of the haves and the have-nots. We can look at, I've been in India, I've seen the disparity between rich and poor there. I've been in China. So there's lots of examples of the haves and the have-nots in the world, but Africa's the case. It's unfortunately, it's been based on racial lines through the apartheid system. So we need to somehow try to get a fix so that everybody can tap into this wonderful resources that this country is having, and really be part of the new South Africa. Yeah, if you don't have that kind of balance in there, it's bound to create instability because the people that have not will try to get to those who have, and that is not really very conducive for going forward in a sustainable manner. We can look at now, even in the world, we can look at the Middle East, we can look at North Africa, Libya, again, the have and the have-nots, and that instability that creates, and that's really unsustainable. You cannot continue with that. It's bound to give in some time. Yeah, so that's roughly why we have a project like Tandi. It's really to bring on a broad scale, you know, not just individuals. That's why Tandi, I think we're really doing it the right way in terms of the level of people and also the amount of people that we try to really get into the system. Yeah, and it's based on partnerships. We felt from the beginning that there's no way that we can do it on our own. It will be absolutely mountain to climb. So we have to partner with people that have been in the industry, who have the resources, who have the knowledge and the skill, work with them, give them a share, make it a win-win, up to the point where we can feel that we can now leave the house and as an independent child and then grow from there. And I think that is the way to do it. It's a long way of doing it, but that's the best way of doing it. So the mentorship and the transfer of skill, that's quite important. Like I said, many of the people have never been in a position of power or position of where they can make decisions. So they have to learn that, and they have to get it from somebody who's been in a position for many years. Okay. I must say, just on the partnership, the government really, I must say, I salute the government for supporting projects like Tandi, organizations like WOZA, who really come to the party in terms of funding and expertise, make that available so that we can tap into that. And today there's about 20 black-owned brands that is there and wine companies, so it's still a way to go. With that 20 black-owned businesses is about 2% of the industry, so there's a long way of trying to bring the balance. Although I'm not saying we will have it like a 50-50, but at least 10% will do at this point in time. But yeah, there's some work to do, and I think projects like that need to keep the flag going, you know, and make sure that there is a point of inspiration and hope that it is possible that we can achieve this better life. Okay, and my final slide, I got here one of the Tandi children. Tandi comes from one of the names of the children on the farm, of one child on the farm. My father, the Anglican pastor, was very instrumental in getting all the parties together so we can set this thing up. And through his efforts, the community felt that they would honor him by naming the brand after his one only child called Tandi. Tandi also means love in isiXhosa. Okay, it's a nurturing love. As you'll see the logo of the mother holding the baby. I think it's a very powerful symbol. Or I think there's no deeper love or stronger love than a mother, between a mother and a child. And I think that's the whole embracement as the collective of a humanity. And through that love approach, tries then to uplift ourselves as a collective. You know, it's this whole issue of working together instead of one having all the sunlight and the rest stays in darkness. It's the Ubuntu approach of let's work together, and with that we all grow together. Yeah, so we're all looking to a brighter future, especially them. We work for them. That is their land that we borrowed. So we try to leave it in a better state, and in terms of what we received, and hopefully they can have the sunlight shining on their faces. Thank you very much. I'll just go over to the wines quickly.